Crossing the eerie and rampant world of cultivation in one day. Wei Hong awakened a mysterious system that could become stronger by killing animals. Do you think he will go around killing and become stronger? No, 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 how dangerous killing is. Isn't killing pigs fragrant? Wei Hong decisively chose to join the butcher's shop, starting from a butcher apprentice and striving to become stronger. Low talent. It doesn't matter, I will add some. A peerless pride. Can you block my punch? Immortal sect Holy Land. It's just a local chicken, tile dog. At first, he just wanted to keep a low profile and kill pigs. But looking back, he is invincible in the world. Go Dao Changsheng plus Cultivation of Immortals plus Killing and Decisive Muscle Flow, a new book opens for collection and fattening, and there is already a high-quality old book. God's Mysterious World. I survive by hanging up. Keywords of the novel. Divine and eerie immortality. Starting from a butcher and adding some cultivation points. No pop-ups, supernatural immortality. Start with a butcher and add some cultivation points. Download the complete TXT collection, Immortal. Starting from the butcher, add some cultivation points. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Beginner at the Meat Shop, Pig Killer Apprentice. Seeking collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Beginner at the Meat Shop, Pig Killer Apprentice. Seeking collection. Starry night, frost cold and dew heavy, black magpies flying south on the side of the ancient and heavy city wall, a meat shop is brightly lit with candles. 7 or 8 rough men are busy and enthusiastic. One fat pig after another was held down and bled, with piercing screams piercing through the night sky. The strong foul smell filled the air, making people dizzy and dizzy. A fat and sturdy middle-aged man in a coarse cloth short coat, holding a purple clay teapot, sat cross-legged on the side drinking tea, his gaze casually gazing at the yellow-skinned boy in front of him. He has a slim figure and his clothes are covered in patches. Due to long-term malnutrition, the face is haggard and pale. My fingers are also covered in calluses, indicating that I have suffered a lot. However, the young man's gaze was very clear and profound, with a hint of calmness and competence, which made people couldn't help but feel a good impression. The middle-aged man put down the teapot and casually asked, "Are you the grandson of Old Wei? What is your name?" Upon hearing this, Wei Hong's eyes lit up again. Damn reputation. The middle-aged man spat out a mouthful of tea foam and his face softened a bit. You don't need to shout one big master at a time. I'm now the head of this meat shop. If you're not afraid of hardship, you'll have a bite to eat. It's also a way to repay your grandfather's kindness in helping him back then. As long as Wei Hong kills people and livestock with his own hands, he can absorb a ray of vitality from the other party, continuously enhancing his own qi, blood, and lifespan without any side effects or limits. These are all his experience packs. 3 years. It doesn't necessarily have to be this long. Zhu Sihai patted his shoulder and comforted him. Our meat shop is affiliated with the Tiger Head Gang. Apprentices also have the opportunity to practice basic pile skills. If you study hard and practice hard, your arm strength will greatly increase. It's okay to become a swordsman in advance, and you may even have the opportunity to join the Tiger Head Gang. You have to be responsible for the cleaning of the inside and outside of the courtyard, as well as the pigsty and thatched cottage. When killing pigs, you have to take care of them, boil water and add firewood, clean the pig's water, and when you have time, you have to go to various restaurants to deliver goods, as well as help with the kitchen. Also, during the apprenticeship period, there was no salary, and only rewards were given during holidays and festivals. Remember that. Killers, people will always kill them. Where can I walk by the river without getting my shoes wet? Therefore, Wei Hong decisively abandoned this path of killing and becoming stronger, and then asked his grandfather to find a butcher apprentice's job at a butcher's shop. The salary doesn't matter, and the only way is to kill pigs and become stronger as soon as possible. Thank you very much, big boss. Wei Hong smiled. Report to the old master, younger Wei Hong. The young man replied with a clear and unassuming gaze, I am 16 years old this year and can read a few words. My grandfather is the old Wei head who works as a night watchman in Analfang. He often mentions your reputation, so he wants the younger generation to make a living with you. If it were an ordinary person, I'm afraid they would be tempted to kill people everywhere and become stronger. You haven't learned how to walk yet, so you just want to run. The middle-aged strong man Zhu Sihai sneered unhappily, killing pigs is a technical skill. Only after passing the 3-year apprenticeship assessment can you have the chance to become a swordsman. Let's take your time to learn. Since crossing into this world of cultivation, he has been relying on his grandfather and growing up in the slums of the divine capital of the Zhou dynasty, while also awakening a mysterious system. This system makes a living by absorbing the vitality of all things. He doesn't care too much about wages. But Wei Hong was aware that this was a dangerous world, where there were both cultivators from heaven and earth, as well as warriors who could break through mountains and seas with their fists, and there were no shortage of strange demons that could harm people's lives. Wei Hong silently nodded in agreement. The middle-aged man continued, Our meat shop doesn't have any rules, it's just a lot of dirty and tiring work. From now on, we will start working at 3.15 in the morning and 3.15 in the afternoon, and manage 2 meals in the morning and afternoon. The Duan too, I wonder when I can start killing pigs. Wei Hong curiously asked, with a hint of eagerness in his eyes as he looked at the pork. It's not easy to search for immortals these days, after all, the cultivation sect is mysterious and difficult to find. Although there were cultivators serving as offerings in the imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty, not everyone could access them. Therefore, practicing martial arts is the way out for ordinary people. If an average person wants to go to a martial arts school to practice, they have to pay a minimum monthly tuition fee of 228 taels. Joining the meat shop now allows one to learn martial arts, which is naturally a great surprise. Let's work hard, Zhu Sihai continued to draw a big cake. Although our pig slaughterers are dirty and tired, they at least don't lack meat to eat. I don't know how many people envy them. When you make your body stronger, practicing martial arts is also a good way out. Thank you very much, big boss. Wei Hong repeatedly expressed gratitude. He knew that Zhu Sihai was not lying. The apprentice at the meat shop is a coveted job, not something anyone can do if they want to. If it weren't for my grandfather's relationship with the other party, it wouldn't be necessary for him to become an apprentice. Zhu Sihai nodded with satisfaction before raising his hand to summon a simple and honest young man with bulging muscles, as strong as a brown bear, and wearing a set of linen short coats. He warned, Li Dainu, this is the new apprentice Wei Hong. Take him with you. Okay. The young man nodded in a muffled voice. He turned around and handed a broom to Wei Hong, saying, Brother Wei, why don't you follow me to clean the blood and water on the ground first? All the miscellaneous work in the store belongs to us, and anyone can command us a few words. If there's nothing to do, we can just sweep around. If someone asks us, we need to help at any time. Do you understand? Okay, thank you very much, Brother Li. Wei Hong thanked him. You're welcome. Li Dainu scratched his head and reminded in a low voice, just call me Dainu. I only came 2.5 years earlier than you. Now there are only 2 apprentices in the butcher's shop. You can follow me wherever I go later. In no time, the 2 of them began to get busy. Cleaning the pigsty, washing blood and water, scraping pig hair, cleaning pig intestines, boiling water and watching the fire, all kinds of trivial things keep going one after another, it's simply too busy to touch the ground. Wei Hong and Li Dainu are currently at the bottom of the meat shop. Working tirelessly and doing dirty and tiring work without any pay, the taste of it is not enough for outsiders. Moreover, due to a constant lack of appetite, Wei Hong's body was thin and weak. After working hard, he was sweating profusely and his hands and feet became soft, and his face turned pale. "Brother Wei, please take it easy," Li Daniu whispered as a reminder. "Look at your skinny appearance. There's no need to work too hard, otherwise you'll have to get tired and lie down." Wei Hong burst into laughter, but this person is quite interesting. On the surface, he looks honest and knows how to cheat and play tricks. "It's okay, I can hold on." Wei Hong gritted his teeth and continued to fetch water from the well in the courtyard to sprinkle and sweep. Whether in his past or present life, he is a bottom-up person who has endured all the hardships. Now that he has the opportunity to stand out, how can he back down? Thinking about his home in a slum with leaks and rain, and his grandfather who had raised him in his late 60s, Wei Hong's heart surged with endless strength. Even though his hands were already bloodstained by the well rope, he didn't care. "I want to become stronger. I want to have enough food. I want my grandfather to live a good life." The young man's face gradually became resolute. There is no fatigue in a pair of clear eyes, only hopeful energy. New book opens. If you like it, please bookmark and fatten it first. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Status, Ignorance. Seeking Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Status, Ignorance. Seeking Collection. Mao Shi Ku. The sky is bright, and all things are reviving. The market street at the entrance of Zhuji Meat Shop has long been bustling with traffic. Vendors are setting up stalls along the street, and long queues have also formed at the city gate. Shops on both sides of the street are opening to welcome customers, and every place is full of vitality. Individual customers in groups of 3 or 2 began to gather in front of the meat stall to buy. The pig killers who had been busy in the backyard for most of the night were finally able to take a break. Aunt Wang, the kitchen maid, cooked a large pot of pig offal soup, accompanied by some wild vegetables in the mountains and forests. A strong aroma immediately wafted around. After all the busyness, Wei Hong was already hungry. Not only was his clothes soaked in sweat, but his body couldn't help but tremble slightly. The pain in both hands was unbearable, and it was only after taking a bite of meat soup that the fatigue was slightly relieved. "Ha! My body is really bad enough. Eat more, we need to quickly take care of our body. Don't think too much, they're just like this. They're not intentionally targeting you, don't take it to heart." Li Daniu pushed 2 pancakes into Wei Hong's hand and pulled him aside to comfort him in a low voice. Wei Hong gulped a few bites of meat soup while nodding in understanding. "Denyo Gu, can we join the Tiger Head gang?" Wei Hong asked sideways. Wei Hong pondered in his heart, but his brow couldn't help but furrow. "Of course it can." Li Daniu said with a hint of pride, "How can one afford to run a meat shop without any background these days? Our uncle, the head of the big stall, is the leader of the Tiger Head gang, and most of the money earned by the meat shop every year has to be handed over to the mouth of the hall. In their eyes, we young apprentices are just miscellaneous workers and don't deserve to be on an equal footing with them. Therefore, no matter how polite you are, they are too lazy to talk to you. Just be honest and do your job well. Although we meat shop people deal with pigs, cows, and sheep every day, they are actually the peripheral members of the Tiger Head gang. They eat meat and practice martial arts all day long, and when they have free time, they kill pigs and chop people. Everyone has a strong aura of evil energy, and ordinary lazy people dare not provoke them. Occasionally speaking vulgar language to make fun of him, I'm too lazy to take a second glance at him from beginning to end. Little brother, you're a bit unfamiliar. Are you a new apprentice?" Aunt Wang enthusiastically scooped a few spoonfuls of meat into his bowl and said, "Come on, eat more. Look at how thin you are." He never forcefully assimilates into the circle that cannot be integrated, and when he becomes stronger in the future, others will take the initiative to make friends with him. They squatted on the side, snoring and eating meat soup pancakes on their own. Wei Hong said confidently, "Thank you very much, Auntie. Just call me Xiao Wei. Please take good care of me, Auntie, and all the big brothers in the future." But the other pig killers seemed to have not heard it. "You're welcome, eat more, just enough." Aunt Wong smiled. The pigs in this world have never been castrated, and the fishy smell in their flesh cannot be suppressed. In addition, the lack of seasoning such as ginger and garlic makes it difficult for ordinary people to tolerate. The pig butcher in any dynasty is a figure in the gray zone, able to afford meat and have strength. The pig knife in his hand sees blood every day, so how could he look down on the ordinary poor? Wei Hong doesn't really care about this, and getting angry is unnecessary. However, with his background of having eaten before but not after, he is not qualified to nitpick too much. Every afternoon when business is not busy, the swordsmen will practice martial arts to strengthen their strength. We can learn some stake technique together to strengthen our foundation and cultivate our strength. As long as we can lift 200 kilograms of stone blocks with one arm, we can join the Tiger Head Gang as peripheral members and have the opportunity to learn superior martial arts. 200 pounds. Wei Hong's eyes lit up. He is not too enthusiastic about joining the gang. But as long as he reaches 200 pounds of arm strength, he should be able to become a formal pig slayer, and then he can still practice superior martial arts, so he is naturally happy. Anyway, when the time comes, he will only focus on killing pigs under the guise of a peripheral gang member. If you can dodge in a fight, you won't foolishly risk your life. It's not easy for the gods to live here. Learning to kill pigs not only allows me to have enough food and skills, but also enables me to learn martial arts. Although it may be a bit dirty and tiring, what else am I not satisfied with? Wei Hong was deeply moved in his heart. Even if he just squats in the corner to eat, he eats incredibly happily. Li Daniu couldn't hold back his words as he ate breakfast and couldn't help but whisper, "Our meat shop has 3 stalls, 15 swordsmen, and also a kitchen maid, Aunt Lu. Oh, by the way, there's a big stall with 3 people living in the innermost courtyard. Don't rush in if you have nothing to do. Both the master and the young lady have bad temper." Wei Hong was eager to hear more news, so he followed his words and asked, "How could a butcher shop have so many people?" "Busy." Li Daniu scratched his head and said, "The population of 108 neighborhoods in Chengdu is several million, and the daily consumption of meat is astronomical. It must be supplied by boat gangs transporting pigs, cows, and sheep from Yuzhou, Suzhou, and other places. Meat is not easy to preserve and must be sold immediately on the same day. Our meat shop usually serves more than a dozen restaurants and restaurants around us, as well as dozens of wealthy households. We also have to deal with individual customers' purchases. We have to kill at least 20.30 pigs, 7.8 sheep per day, and even double it during holidays and festivals. Usually, the big boss sits in the shop, the second boss takes a few people to the countryside to collect pigs, and goes to the water and land dock to find boats to help buy livestock. The third boss is responsible for delivering goods to various restaurants in the early morning. In short, these people are not enough." Wei Hong chuckled inwardly at the words. He really underestimated the business of the meat shop. No wonder it has to be affiliated with the Tiger Head Gang, otherwise who can hold the place? Have you seen the black and strong man on the left? His name is Wang Daji, and he is said to be the oldest swordsman here. He not only has the ability to refine the skin realm, but also has the ability to kill 7 or 8 people with just one knife when fighting against the Tiger Head Gang and the Evil Dog Gang in the past. Don't provoke him casually. Sitting next to him were Lu Kong and Jiang Kuei, who enjoyed eating, drinking, prostitution, and gambling. Every time they paid their monthly salary, they would run to the hook. On the right is Zhao Jichang, the distant nephew of the 3rd rank, who comes and goes alone. He has a bad temper and is not well liked. Li Daniu chattered softly like a chatterbox. Wei Hong effortlessly recognized everyone present with his gaze and secretly memorized their information in his heart. Daniel, have you finished eating? Aunt Wang walked over with a chicken and casually said, once you finish eating, come over and help Aunt kill the chicken. Miss, if you want to drink chicken soup at noon, you must prepare it in advance. Hey, here we are. Li Daniu was busy preparing to get up and work. Wei Hong decisively raised his hand and grabbed him, saying, Big Nyo, you can continue eating, I'll come. So why are you so embarrassed? Li Daniu scratched his head. It's okay. Wei Hong smiled nonchalantly and followed without hesitation. How could he possibly miss such a good opportunity? I can't kill pigs, can't I still kill chickens? End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Steak Skill, Tiger's 13 Styles. Seeking Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Steak Skill, Tiger's 13 Styles. Seeking Collection. Beside the well, Aunt Wang grabbed the chicken feet and wings with both hands. Wei Hong skillfully pulled out the fuzz from the chicken neck. Then he grabbed his throat and pulled a knife, causing the chicken blood to drip into the white porcelain bowl. Goo 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 goo. The old hen struggled desperately, but her strength grew weaker and weaker. Aunt Wang couldn't help but praise the situation and said, the technique is quite sharp. You don't kill too many chickens on weekdays, do you? Hee hee. Wei Hong couldn't deny a smile. In fact, Li Daniu could barely finish all these tasks alone. With the help of Wei Hong, the two of them naturally became much more relaxed after sharing the burden. Occasionally, they could even go to the kitchen to chat with Aunt Wang, and life was very comfortable. To cause a qualitative change and increase attributes such as longevity and health, it is estimated that a large amount of vitality is needed. In an instant, it will be completely absorbed by flesh and blood everywhere. Tip. 100 points of vitality can increase lifespan by 1 year, 10 points of vitality can increase health by 0.1, and 1 point of vitality can improve skill proficiency by 1 point. Wei Hong looked at his illusory panel and couldn't help but fall into contemplation. These vitality seeps into the body, like a drop of water entering the dry earth. All kinds of miscellaneous work, cleaning, organizing, and moving are already clear in mind. However, there is always hope, isn't there? After helping Aunt Wang quickly pluck the old hen's fur, she continued to follow Li Daniu and get busy. Obviously, it is impossible to kill a chicken alone. Wei Hong curled his lips in a good mood. Gradually, Wei Hong also clarified his job scope. Due to his weak body, a group of illusory light that only Wei Hong can see. Just drill out of the hen's body and disappear into his body in the next moment. Ding. Vitality +1 at the same time. Host. Wei Hong, age. 1647, vitality point. 3, health. 5.3, realm. Currently unavailable, practice. Currently unavailable, magic. Currently unavailable, skills. Cooking skills. Xiao Cheng, 84 out of 100, fishing skills. Beginner, 63 out of 100. He and his grandfather are so poor that they can't afford to eat meat a few times a year. How could they have the chance to kill chickens? But in my past life, I often ate chicken. This is not the first time he has gained vitality. In the past, he has also tried to kill insects, small fish, and shrimp to gain vitality, but the sporadic gains of 1 or 2 vitality are not enough to change the attribute board. After lunch at the meat stall at the entrance, there were mostly fewer individual customers, leaving only 2 butchers selling meat. The remaining 10 swordsmen began to consciously gather in the backyard to practice their skills. They either hold hundreds of pounds of stone blocks to practice their strength, either put on various strange postures to stand on the stake. Everyone is sweating profusely and tirelessly repairing. Even Wang Daji and a few other martial artists in the realm of refining skins practice their martial arts in pairs and pairs, punching and punching until they reached the flesh. They looked fierce and fierce, as if even a tiger was being punched and killed. Envy, right? Li Daniu joked and joked. Envy. Wei Hong admitted calmly, "Big brother, when can I practice martial arts?" "Now, that's it." Li Daniu said confidently, "Killing pigs is a tough job for us. How can we withstand such hardship without practicing steak technique? We all lay the foundation for practicing the Tiger Head Gang's 13 styles of the tiger's journey. This steak technique uses the fierce tiger imagery to temper the muscles and bones of the whole body, which is stronger than the entry-level techniques in ordinary martial arts schools. If you don't mind, I can teach you. If you're afraid I won't teach you well, you can wait until the 1st and 15th days of each month when the 3 leaders will take the time to give you some guidance. Nature won't mind, Big Bull, please." "Okay." Li Daniu's hands trembled and his muscles and bones roared in unison. He twisted his body and lay on the ground, appearing fierce as if he had transformed into a fierce tiger. His throat emitted low roars of thunder, constantly refining every muscle of his body through the coordination of various movements. The 13 tiger moves, as the name suggests, have a total of 13 moves. Li Daniu explained while practicing, steak gong is different from ordinary fist and foot martial arts. They do not open and close widely, but use various strange postures such as standing, lying down, twisting, and slight shaking of the body to exercise muscles through breathing. I have only been practicing this pile skill for over 2 years, and although I haven't entered the room yet, I can still teach you it with some force. Just take a look. This is the first type of fierce tiger descending the mountain, with a focus on shaking the neck, shoulder blades, and waist muscles. The breathing is 3 fast and 1 slow, and the whole body trembles with throat sounds. This is the second style of hungry tiger fighting sheep, which focuses on accumulating strength all over the body, imagining the scene of a fierce tiger pouncing on it and tempering the muscles of the arms and thighs. This is the third style of Tiger Roar 8 Directions, which focuses on exercising the chin, waist, abdomen, heart and lungs. It requires deep breathing and low roaring. Li Daniu patiently explained the drill. Let Wei Hong quickly jot down the key points of these 13 movements. They are not actually complicated, after all, they only need to pose in a specific position, which is not as complex and difficult to understand as fist and foot swordsmanship. However, to put it simply, it is not easy to cultivate artistic conception and deduce subtlety. Wei Hong observed and compared the pile techniques of other swordsmen, and found that there were slight differences in their movements, breathing, and artistic details. Obviously, everyone has different insights when practicing the same pile technique. Ding! This skill includes the Tiger's 13 moves and currently has a proficiency level of beginner, 1 out of 100. Who? Wei Hongchang breathed a sigh of relief, as long as it was included in the system. As long as he shows proficiency, is he afraid he won't be able to push this skill to the limit? After half an hour, Li Daniu finally slowly finished his work. Even though he is as tall as a brown bear, he is still slightly sweating at this moment, and his muscles are constantly shaking slightly. Obviously, the refining effect is very amazing. Danyo, you have achieved great success. You have practiced this skill so brilliantly that even I have to bow down to you. It seems that you can break through 200 pounds of arm strength soon. The swordsman practicing on the side sneered in a strange and sinister manner. Hee hee. Li Daniu scratched his head with a silly smile and dared not refute, then whispered, "Did you take note of it? Although the movements are very simple, you also need to imagine the artistic conception while coordinating your breathing. It is not easy to practice well. Unfortunately, we are not formal disciples of the Tiger Head Gang, otherwise we can take a look at the divine intention of this pillar skill, which will definitely be helpful to you. Can we only see the divine intention by joining the Tiger Head gang? Wei Hong frowned. Nature. Li Daniu nodded and said, but you can practice without divine intention. If you are brave enough, you can go to the wild to observe the tigers, and the effect will definitely be better. Wei Hong's cheeks twitched upon hearing this. Going to the wild to observe tigers. Do you really think I can skate? Li Daniu continued to advise, besides, you haven't fully developed your body yet when you first learn to practice. It's difficult for you to complete 13 movements in a short period of time. You can do it according to your own abilities. Don't force yourself to practice and give yourself up. Okay, thank you very much, Brother Nyo. Wei Hong nodded solemnly and agreed. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. The light boat has passed, and 10,000 mountains. Seeking collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. The light boat has passed, and 10,000 mountains. Seeking collection. Next, Wei Hong began to practice the skill of Tiger's 13 moves on his own. He shook his hands and fell forward to the ground, stumbling in the first posture of a fierce tiger descending the mountain, trying to recall the key points of Li Daniu's recent practice. Separate your left hand and retract your right foot. Remember the key points of breathing. 3 fast and 1 slow. Slightly shake the neck, shoulder blades, and waist muscles, imitating the fierce look of a tiger preparing to descend the mountain. Li Daniu patiently gave guidance on the side. Wei Hong took a deep breath and gradually adjusted his posture. A tiger-like low growl emanated from his throat, constantly fantasizing that he was a fierce tiger descending from the mountain. Thanks to watching many wilderness documentaries in my past life. Not bad. Li Daniu exclaimed in surprise, you're really a genius. Your first practice was so lifelike, much stronger than me. As Li Daniu said, just raise it for a few more days. Although the meat shop is a bit bitter and tiring, the food and oil are quite abundant. However, even with simple exercises, Wei Hong suffered a lot. In addition, Wei Hong's body was thin and weak. After only taking more than 10 breaths, he was trembling all over, his muscles were sore, and his breathing was disrupted. He couldn't help but collapse to the ground, exhausted and gasping for breath. Now he can only simply familiarize himself with the 13 movements, imitating and memorizing them over and over again. He doesn't expect to immediately refine his body muscles, but rather to quickly digest this set of skills. Li Daniu awkwardly comforted in a low voice, it's okay. You're still weak, just take care of yourself for a while. A burst of hissing laughter came from around. Who? Obviously, it was also evident that Wei Hong was outstanding, and subconsciously thought he was an extraordinary talent. Wei Hong smiled without any discouragement. I thought I had so much skill. He can actually imagine the every move of a fierce tiger, so it is much easier to learn at first than ordinary people, and he has already learned it in just a few seconds. Ha ha ha. Is that all? Who? Not for a while. Wei Hong felt the difficulty of practicing this pile skill. This type of pile work is somewhat similar to plate support, requiring many subtle muscles throughout the body to exert force together, resulting in a very rapid physical exertion. After half a day of hard work, I have become exhausted all over, and it is normal that I cannot complete the first move. But in fact, only Wei Hong knew that he was not a genius. He only had a few more insights than the average person. After all, it was not easy for ordinary people in this era to meet a fierce tiger once. The swordsmen around also cast surprised glances. I believe that within half a month, his thin and weak body will be able to strengthen, and then he will be able to train hard like others. He grew up in a slum where he couldn't eat enough for a long time. He was tired and lying on the ground time and time again, with unbearable soreness all over his body. His clothes were sweating like they had just been pulled out of the water, making Li Daniu's heart skip a beat. Stop practicing. Li Daniu couldn't help but advise repeatedly, steak gong consumes qi and blood to refine the whole body. If your body is not strong enough and you practice forcefully, you will only collapse your body. I have a plan in my heart, don't worry, big bull. Wei Hong stubbornly continued to practice, refusing to give up even though his hands and feet were trembling uncontrollably. After all, with the presence of golden fingers, he is not worried about his body being exhausted. As long as he absorbs vitality, he can replenish qi and blood, repair hidden injuries, and enhance his physique. Therefore, he only wants to seize the time to become stronger as much as possible. After some exercise, Wei Hong almost fainted from exhaustion several times. I practiced until my body couldn't bear it, and then I decisively added 1 point of vitality to the panel's health. Ding! A warm energy began to sweep through the whole body. Wei Hong was like taking a tonic, his originally sore and tired muscles were quickly relieved, and his already depleted strength was quickly restored to a large extent. Cool. Keep going. Wei Hong excitedly started practicing pile skills again. I waited until my whole body was drained of energy again and I was starving before I would stop. Xiao Wei, are you hungry? Aunt Wang couldn't bear it and whispered, there's still some leftover meat soup pancakes in the morning, and Mrs. Chicken soup at noon. Do you want to have some? Is that okay? Wei Hong looked up in surprise. What's not allowed? It's all leftover food and vegetables, Aunt Wang said warmly. Come and sit in the kitchen, Auntie can heat it up for you. No need, I'll just eat something cold. Thank you very much, Auntie. Wei Hong was no longer polite and sat on the small stool in the kitchen at Aunt Wang's signal. Picking up a bowl of broth and grabbing a few pancakes, he wolfed them down. Although he had a full lunch. But there is no oil or water in the stomach, and practicing requires a lot of energy. Therefore, the contents of the stomach have already been completely digested. I drank several large bowls of meat soup in a row to relieve my hunger. Eat slowly, Aunt Wang muttered with heartache, if you're hungry in the future, come find your aunt. There's a lot of leftover food in the kitchen every day, so you can't lose your stomach while practicing martial arts. Thank you very much, Auntie. Wei Hong smiled gratefully, and warm currents flashed through his heart. Although the butchers at the meat shop disdain to fight him, whether it is Zhu Sihai's help, Li Dali's guidance, or Wang Auntie's love, they are all worthy of his gratitude and gratitude. Unfortunately, these dishes cannot be taken home, otherwise Grandpa would be able to have a full meal. After eating and drinking enough, Wei Hong did not continue practicing the 13 styles of tiger walking. Instead, he endured his fatigue and began to help Aunt Wang with her work, busy with washing dishes and sweeping the floor. He knows very well that he cannot sit down and rest when his muscles are sore. Otherwise, after one night, my hands and feet may feel so painful that I can't even move. At this point, doing something within one's capabilities can actually relax muscles. Until 3:15 p.m., the meat shop finally closed. Wei Hong breathed a long sigh of relief, and as he was dragging his tired body back home, Zhu Sihai, who was sitting at the door smoking a dry cigarette, took a puff of his cigarette ring and said calmly, wait a minute, take this miscellaneous thing back. Follow his line of sight. There is indeed half a pig lung left on the meat stall, tied with a straw. Thank you very much, Uncle Sihai. Wei Hong was not polite and directly held it in his hand. The self-esteem of a poor person is not worth money. Since he has already received the other person's favor, he will not think that Zhu Sihai is insulting himself with half a pig's lung, all he has is gratitude. You kid. Zhu Sihai chuckled in silence, get out of here, arrive early tomorrow. Wei Hong smiled and nodded, then turned around and walked towards the slums. Shuttling through the bustling streets of Chengdu, his mood also brightened a bit. For 16 years, he has been trembling like walking on thin ice, even with golden fingers, he dare not reveal a trace, afraid of being accidentally targeted. After all, in this vast capital, anyone has the ability to crush him. Fortunately, we have overcome the weakest period and believe that our days will improve day by day. The light boat has passed, countless mountains. Wei Hong hooked his lips and murmured. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Slums, Fees. Seeking Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Slums, Fees. Seeking Collection. To the east of Anil Fong a large and filthy slum sits beneath the bustling capital of gods. The bumpy and muddy road was surrounded by various feces, urine, and foul smells. A large number of hungry and cold poor people live in dilapidated shacks one by one. Some of them are terminally ill, while others have disabled legs and can only huddle in a corner to barely breathe. There are also starving children with innocent eyes open, hungry and competing with wild dogs for food. In the winding alleys, from time to time came the coquettish laughter of prostitutes flirting and cursing, as well as various noisy sounds of women cursing the streets. It can be said that chaos often arises and fish and dragons mix together. Wei Hong turned a deaf ear to this and walked home on his own. At the same time, his eyes were constantly vigilant as he scanned the surroundings, carefully avoiding the gang members who frequented the slums and some fugitives who could not be seen. Xiaohong has returned. What are you busy with? A burly man with a scarred face grabbed old Wei's collar and threatened. Grandpa. Wei Hong stopped the old man from wanting to continue his theory and tried to persuade him in a gentle voice, take the money. Thanks to your blessings. No, this month is not the end. Scared Face arched his hand towards the direction of the imperial city and smiled, saying, the Empress Dowager is about to celebrate her birthday. She has been ordered by the government to increase the birthday tax, and we, the Tiger Head Gang, have to help collect the money. Each person has 2 coins, and your family has to pay a total of 12 coins. Damn it, whether you guys live or not is none of my business, Scarface interrupted impatiently. If you can't complete the task assigned by the boss, will you be punished for me? Hey, you're going to become an apprentice at a butcher's shop. This is a big celebration. Wei Hong chatted with several aunties on the way. 1 liang and 2 yuan. Intentionally revealing that he was an apprentice in a butcher's shop, it immediately aroused envy and jealousy among many people, even reducing the prying eyes from around. It's nothing, just returned from work at Juji meat shop. It's not that we don't want to pay, it's just that there's too much money spread out, old man. I really can't take it out. Grandfather Old Wei too complained bitterly. God damn it, old man, I've been working hard for a month and only got 15 yuan per month. You must leave a congee for our grandfather and grandson to drink, right? In the first half of the month, you collect it, and in the second half of the month, the yamen will come to collect it. Do you still let people live? 3 big men wearing gray short coats with blood tiger tattoos were yelling and cursing at their grandfather, who had gray hair, a hunched figure, and a kind heart, saying, Mad Wei, don't think we won't take action if you're old and weak. You know the consequences of not paying today. Oh my, Xiaohong is back. Scarface let go of his hand and said with a smile on his face, look, this is not my reckless behavior. It's really because your family doesn't cooperate with the fees allocated by the upper authorities. It's also difficult for me to handle it. I don't care if you have money or not. Don't talk nonsense, do you want to be beaten? Upon seeing this, Wei Hong quickly went over to stop him, frowned and advised, Master Dao, please speak up. Wei Hong took a cold breath in shock. Don't worry, Master Dao. We understand the rules, Wei Hong said calmly. The monthly head fee is 3 yuan, the garbage fee is 1 yuan, and the night incense fee is 1 yuan, right? And when he returned to his doorstep, he found that the door of his own shack was wide open. Old Wei sighed silently and helplessly took it out of his arms for a long time. Finally, he took out 1 scattered silver tael and a large string of copper coins and handed them to Scarface. Not bad, it still honed his wit. The satisfied Scar face turned around and left. In no time, another wave of threats, insults, and begging for mercy came from the next door. Wei Hong coldly withdrew his gaze, as such things were already commonplace. The Zhou dynasty had been established for 800 years, but its interior had long been decayed. Today we'll collect the door and window fees, tomorrow we'll collect the charcoal fire fees. Various gangs, big and small, are the minions of the upper echelons, squeezing ordinary people to the point of unbearable suffering. If you don't pay, they have 10,000 ways to force you to pay. In the end, Wei Hong had no way of knowing who the silver money had fallen into. He only knew that with his current status, it was not enough to fight against the rules. These damn things. Old Wei scolded his mother in a low voice, feeling sorry for him. He knew how to plunder the common people, but sooner or later, having a child would be useless. Just a few words less, be careful that the walls have ears. Wei Hong advised as he helped him walk inside, I'm doing well at the butcher's shop now. When I become a swordsman, our lives will be easier. Right, Honga has been busy all day starving, hasn't he? Old Wei's face was full of love. The old man is going to cook dinner now. There are still 2 pounds of brown rice in the rice jar, and we'll steam half of the fish jerky. Let's have a good meal together. I'm too full at the shop today, so I won't have dinner. Wei Hong handed over the pig lungs and said drowsily, this is the miscellaneous food given by the big stall. You can cook it yourself. I have to work in the latter half of the night, so I'll sleep early. Okay, if you're tired, wash yourself and go to bed. Old Wei nodded painfully, where could he not see Wei Hong's fatigue all over, afraid he had suffered a lot. You don't need to keep pig lungs for me. You can eat them all, don't be reluctant, Wei Hong patiently advised, I work in a meat shop and my esophagus is full. In the future, our family's food supply can save a lot of money. Okay. The old man's tone was a bit choked up, but his eyes were bright and radiant. The child he had worked hard to raise finally had the capital to settle down. Why is he still so filial and sensible now? After chatting for a while, Old Wei began cleaning the pig lungs and preparing to cook. Wei Hong looked around the low, dim, cluttered shack, as well as the wooden bed that could only barely squeeze 2 people out, and finally let out a silent sigh. The rice jar at home has already bottomed out, and there is still some air leakage in the greenhouse. The weather is getting colder and colder day by day, and the charcoal fire cotton jacket for winter at home has not yet landed. Thinking about how his grandfather, at an advanced age, had to go out to work shifts every night, and during the day he had to go to the Dali Temple prison to do odd jobs and clean up. He had to work 2 jobs alone to support himself, Wei Hong couldn't help but feel heartbroken. Keep going, life will get better and better. 16 years have passed, there's no obstacle that can't be overcome. Wei Hong comforted himself while wiping his body with water. Taking a shower. Not present. Where is there a place to wash in such a small shack? Most people in the slums don't take a shower once a year. When you have money in the future, you must buy a large courtyard. After a simple wash, Wei Hong lay tossing and turning in bed. Although tired and drowsy, the soreness in his muscles made it difficult for him to fall asleep. Helpless, Wei Hong added a little more vitality to his health and waited until his whole body was enveloped by warm energy again. He couldn't help but close his eyes comfortably and quickly fell into a deep sleep. Seeking collection and fattening, requesting tickets, end of this chapter. Chapter 6. Strange, human life is not as good as dogs. Seeking collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Strange, human life is not as good as dogs. Seeking collection. Early morning Zhuji meat shop is as lively and noisy as usual. Wei Hong kept cleaning up blood and rinsing the pig's large intestine. The various tasks are done quickly and effortlessly, making it difficult to pick out any mistakes. More than half a month has passed in a blink of an eye. Although he works hard in the meat shop, he doesn't have to worry about food and drink every day. The once thin and weak body has gradually gained some muscles, and his complexion is no longer as haggard and pale as half a month ago. His eyes have become sharper due to practicing martial arts, and he looks very energetic. Finally, he has some youthful energy. "Brother Hong, are you busy?" Li Daniu pushed a handcart back from outside. Since Wei Hong took over the odd jobs, he has been sent out every day to deliver goods to major restaurants, so he has been much busier than before. "Not busy." Wei Hong kept moving his hands and looked up with a smile. "These tasks are all quite easy, not comparable to your busy work outside." "Oh." Li Daniu continued to ramble on. "Okay, how could Li Mansion provoke any strangeness?" Wei Hong exclaimed in surprise. "Most of these wealthy families recruit warriors to serve as guards. In theory, warriors have abundant energy and blood like a scorching sun, and ordinary strangeness should be avoided. Mild cases can result in 1 or 2 deaths or injuries, while severe cases can lead to widespread suffering. Most people remain silent about this, because everyone knows that it is mysterious and difficult to deal with, and even the anti-evil department mostly just cleans up the aftermath afterwards. Also, the eldest son of Li Fuhu's family on Green Willow Street suddenly went crazy last night, wielding a sharp knife and killing a family of 18 people. It is said that even the Jinxia was alarmed. You don't know yet, do you?" Li Daniu lowered his voice and said proudly, "The Blood Crow Gang has recently gained the support of a big shot. They have recruited a group of blood refining realm experts and fiercely strengthened their momentum. Otherwise, how can they dare to compete with the Tiger Head Gang?" Wei Hong suddenly became interested. He can always tell from his mouth what big and small things have happened to the gods recently. He has always known that there are many demons and monsters lurking in this world. Although the divine capital is the capital of the Zhou dynasty, the probability of strange events occurring under the emperor's feet is relatively small, but it is not absolutely safe. This must have been another game between some big shots, eventually evolving into a chess piece battle, which has little to do with ordinary people. Who said it's not? Li Daniu put down his tea bowl and said mysteriously, "It is said that the young master of the Li family went to Hongfu Temple outside the city to burn incense a few days ago. Due to heavy rain, he rested in an abandoned village halfway up the mountain. Perhaps it was strange that he got into trouble at that time and then brought it back home. Over the years, there have been over a dozen strange incidents happening every year, just around Anilfang." "I see." Wei Hong chuckled and shook his head, which was already commonplace. "Hi. Don't mention it." Li Daniu poured a cup of tea from the kitchen and cursed. "Last night, the Tiger Head Gang and the Blood Crow Gang went crazy. In the early hours of the morning, they suddenly got into a fight, causing the city guards in the western part of the city to be under martial law. We have been checked countless times on our delivery route, which has delayed our return until now. If your grandfather passes by this place while watching midnight, remember to make him be careful." Although Li Daniu is simple and honest, he also likes gossip. Wei Hong was taken aback by the words. "Is this strange?" When passers-by passed by Li Mansion early in the morning, they were all startled by the blood on the ground. It is said that all 18 people were skinned. Blame the victim for their own misfortune. Wei Hong naturally enjoyed chatting with him, so he kept asking, "The Tiger Head Gang controls such a large area of Anilfang and Anshifang. How dare the Blood Crow Gang provoke such a gang? I heard Uncle Tang, who was selling braised meat next door, say that he heard the young master of the Li family singing and acting in the middle of the night. At first, he didn't pay much attention, but later in the night, something happened. Do you think it's tragic?" Wei Hong was sweating profusely, feeling a chill on his back. In this world, human life is not as good as pigs and dogs, it makes people feel insecure. We must become stronger as soon as possible, otherwise we won't be able to escape from these dirty things. By the way, how are you doing with your pile skills? Li Daniu asked curiously. I can barely practice the 7th move in one breath. Wei Hong put down his work and went straight to the corner to grab a 50-pound stone lock, then took a deep breath and forcefully lifted it. Ha! The stone lock was lifted above the head in response. Although Wei Hong's arms were still slightly trembling. But compared to half a month ago when my hands were powerless, there has been a huge change. Okay, it's not in vain, Brother Hong. You practice hard every day, Li Daniu exclaimed in surprise. In 10.5 days, you should be able to practice the 13 moves in one go. If you can practice 9 times a day, you can basically reach 200 pounds of arm strength. Hee hee. Wei Hong smiled and remained silent. He knows how much he weighs, but his progress is actually much worse than others. Although he has strengthened his body a bit in the past half-month, unfortunately his foundation is too poor and his talent is very average, so only Li Daniu worked hard to encourage himself. 200 pounds of arm strength is not that easy. I've heard that many wealthy and powerful children practice martial arts with the help of soup and medicine, and one day can be equivalent to 1 month's worth of work for us poor people. And I don't have the money to buy nourishing decoctions. If I don't have the vitality to replenish them, I'm afraid I won't be able to practice them for 3 years. I don't know when we can officially slaughter pigs. Wei Hong frowned in distress. During this period, he has been able to help Aunt Wang kill some chickens, ducks, and geese every now and then. But it's not easy for him to kill pigs and sheep. After all, it's not his turn to do the cutting. Hongo wants to kill a pig. Li Daniu seemed to see through his thoughts and couldn't help but laugh and joke. If you really want to use a knife, come and join me tomorrow. Wei Hong's eyes lit up and he couldn't help but ask, Big Nyo, don't be joking. Do you already have 200 pounds of arm strength? Not yet. Li Daniu sneered, now I only have 180 pounds of arm strength at most. Being a swordsman is not enough, but tomorrow is the Cold Clothes Festival. Oh. Wei Hong was surprised. Is it a holiday? Which family is not allowed to buy meat? Li Daniu continued, not only will the wealthy restaurants, but even the small families will buy meat. Our meat shop will have to be busy. Wei Hong finally understood what he meant. Once the meat shop becomes busy, it will definitely be understaffed. On weekdays, Li Daniu may not be skilled enough to wield knives and kill pigs, but when he is busy, his apprentice, who has been practicing arm strength for 2.5 years and weighs 180 pounds, naturally has the opportunity to wield knives. Then Yo-go, how about we work together tomorrow? Wei Hong said with bright eyes. This is nature, Li Daniu said with a silly smile. These dirty animals have great strength, and it's quite difficult for me to hold them down alone. It would be good to have your help. Upon hearing this, Wei Hong's mood instantly improved. So it seems that there is a chance to earn vitality tomorrow. As expected, in the afternoon, Zhu Sihai summoned everyone and ordered them to leave work early, and start working 1 hour tomorrow morning to prepare for the Cold Clothes Festival. A large number of pigs and sheep were also escorted from the dock. Request for tickets, end of this chapter. Chapter 7. Cold Clothes Festival, Earn Vitality. Seeking follow. Up reading. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Cold Clothes Festival, Earn Vitality. Seeking follow. Up reading. October 1st. The weather is getting cooler, and the cold wind is howling. Wei Hong took advantage of the night to shuttle through the streets and alleys, and arrived at Zhu Ji's meat shop early. It's only 3 ugly moments now, but the butcher's shop is already brightly lit with figures and figures. Not only have a dozen or so swordsmen arrived, but even the second and third leaders who go out all day have personally arrived. Obviously, this Cold Clothes Festival is an important day for meat shops. Everyone here, right? Zhu Sihai said coldly, holding a teapot as usual. Everyone knows what day it is today. Rich people from various restaurants have already placed orders with our meat shop, and at least 40 pigs and 20 sheep need to be killed. If there are too many scattered customers in the morning, we may have to add more. I don't care how you sneak and play tricks on me. If anyone dares to lose face by having a diarrhea today, just pack up and get lost. Our small temple can't tolerate such a big Buddha. Do you understand? Yes. Everyone agreed in unison. Even the most arrogant swordsman in daily life dare not touch the mold today. Zhu Sihai glanced over and said again, Li Daniu and Wei Hong, you two can work together to kill the sheep, right? Tie the leg of the lamb with a rope while throwing it onto the cutting board. Wei Hong quickly said upon seeing the situation, let me do it. I don't see them taking action on a daily basis. I still know how to bleed. You can teach me how to peel later. After finishing a sentence, everyone began to bustle with enthusiasm. They seem to have evolved and are incredibly powerful. But if you want to clean them all up before sending them to the restaurant, it's not an easy task. Killing sheep is not difficult, look good. Wei Hong shook the pig-killing knife in his hand with a calm expression on his face. Don't worry, big boss, we can. Li Daniu agreed on the spot. Li Daniu picked up a slender pointed knife and rubbed it a few times before preparing to take action. Li Daniu slipped out a black goat from the sheep pen. That's good. Li Daniu happily handed over the knife. He found through long-term observation that the pigs and sheep in this world are stronger than those of blue stars. Okay. Zhu Sihai waved his hand and said, everyone, please work hard for me. Your bounty is indispensable. Let's start. A pig weighing around 100 pounds cannot be held down by even a few strong men. Helping him in the butcher's shop is not for nothing. He has a rough idea of how the swordsmen kill pigs and sheep, how to cut open bones and meat, but lacks practical opportunities. It is necessary for skilled swordsmen to work together in pairs to quickly solve them. Wei Hong nodded in understanding. Do you know why the Dang Tu asked us to kill sheep? Li Daniu explained with a smile, because sheep don't need to be shaved, they just need to peel off the sheepskin to sell meat, which is simpler than killing pigs. Moreover, sheep are more gentle and have less strength than pigs, so we won't be unable to hold them down. 40 pigs and 20 sheep, although seemingly not many. Aunt Lu, the kitchen maid, cooked a pot of hot water early on. The swordsmen paired up and deftly pulled out fat pigs before starting to fight. White knives went in and red knives went out, and a burst of howls from pigs and sheep pierced the eardrums of people. Now this black goat doesn't look big, but if Wei Hong went to catch it in the sheep pen himself, he was afraid it would easily be kicked out by it. It's just killing sheep, it's not difficult. Wei Hong grabbed the sheep horn with his left hand and stabbed it in the throat with a knife in his right hand. Ba, ba, ba. The black goat struggled desperately. However, due to the lamb's leg being tied by a rope, its struggle seemed extremely powerless, and in the end, blood gushed out like a fountain, directly splashing onto the ground. Gradually, its strength became smaller and smaller. After dozens of breaths, a bright cluster of light flickered and was engulfed. Ding! Vitality plus 12. Wei Hong's eyes lit up and he couldn't help but curl his lips and smile. A sheep is comparable to 12 old hens, this transaction has turned a profit. But where does this vitality come from? The lamb and sheep blood are still intact, has the system devoured and transformed the soul of the sheep? Or rather, it devoured the ethereal Shouyuan. Wei Hong couldn't figure it out, so he stopped thinking too much. Li Daniu happily picked up the goat and hung it on the shelf, then sharpened his knife and explained, sheepskin is a good thing. Not only can it be made into a coat to keep warm, but it can also be made into felt hats, for clothes, and sheepskin boots. Sometimes it is even more valuable than lamb, so skinning must be done carefully. Before peeling, it is necessary to make a cut on the leg of the lamb and then blow air into the skin film using a bamboo tube. This way, the skin and flesh will separate, making peeling very easy. After speaking, he began to play with it seriously. Although Wei Hong had seen other swordsmen killing sheep, he still gained a lot from Li Daniu's personal explanation, and finally added a skill on the system panel. Slaughtering, beginner, 1 out of 100. Goats usually weigh around 70.80 pounds. After peeling off the skin, the sheep's head is chopped off to empty its organs, and the lamb can be sold at the stall. Isn't it simpler than killing pigs? Li Daniu asked with a smile. Wei Hong nodded in agreement. Due to the fact that pig killing does not involve peeling, handling pig hair is a meticulous process. After scraping off the pig fur, the pork had to be divided and sold, which was indeed more complicated than killing sheep overall, to the point where 2 people killed 1 sheep while the other swordsmen were only half busy. Next, the 2 continued to divide their work and cooperate in killing sheep. Wei Hong always rushed to bleed the goats, so he also gained vitality time and time again. At the same time, he began to personally peel the skin, and his proficiency in slaughtering skills increased unconsciously. Well done. Zhu Sihai paced and stood still beside him, finally nodding in satisfaction. Both Li Daniu and Wei Hong are good. They are quick and hard-working people, and although their strength and craftsmanship are not as good as other swordsmen, they are still very worthy of cultivation. I saw 2 people working together to clean up a goat again. Zhu Sihai raised his eyebrows and ordered, Daniel, go and pull out the smallest black-haired pig from the pigsty. You 2 should kill it. Hey. All right. Upon hearing these words, Li Daniu was immediately overjoyed. The Dang Tu clearly said this to cultivate him. Although his arm strength is only 180 pounds, he should be able to pick a smaller pig, and there is also Wei Hong's cooperation. After he practices his skills, he will definitely be able to officially become a swordsman in less than a month or 2. Congratulations, big brother Nyo. Wei Hong said happily. Hee hee. Li Daniu scratched his head with a silly smile and said, let's go. Kill the pig. As they spoke, the 2 headed straight for the pigsty. Suppressing the stench and scanning around, Li Daniu quickly locked onto a thin and weak black-haired pig, then hugged its waist and picked it up. That's right, it's just a hug. The way pigs are slaughtered in this world is very simple and rough. Due to the fierce nature of big fat pigs, they are prone to being bumped and injured if dragged head-on. Therefore, lifting them vigorously to prevent the pigs from struggling is the best way. Brother Hong, take action. Li Daniu pressed the pig onto the cutting board. The whole body was tightly suppressed, no matter how it howled and struggled, it was difficult to break free. And at this moment, it is a good time for Wei Hong to take action. Request for follow-up reading and ticket issuance, end of this chapter. Chapter 8. What is the future promising, and will the body become holy? Ticket request. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. What is the future promising, and will the body become holy? Ticket request Pushi. With a single blow, blood splatters. Wei Hong's first time killing a pig, his craftsmanship was ultimately somewhat lacking. Although I have tried my best to cut at the critical throat, it is still slightly off-center. So much so that the blood vessels connecting to the heart could not be cut off with one knife. Under the injury, the pig naturally screamed and struggled desperately. It's off, come again. Be careful not to be kicked by it, this dirty beast has too much strength. Hurry up. Li Daniu gritted his teeth and continued to press it down, anxiously urging him. A skinny pig has 18 points of vitality, which is equivalent to the income of 1.5 sheep. Pushi. Wei Hong's calm hand started and fell again. Wei Hong quickly threw down his knife and pressed it, feeling a tremendous force rolling under him. Gradually, the strength of this pig decreased. Hee hee. Li Daniu's face turned red and he squeezed out 2 words from his teeth. Wei Hong spat out a long mouthful of exhaust gas. Obviously, the struggle of this pig before its death was the most intense. Isn't it more profitable to kill other fat pigs? The future is promising. Unfortunately, one bite is so bad that it makes you fat. The two also breathed a sigh of relief before slowly collapsing to the ground. Fortunately, Li Daniu's strength was terrifying, and he barely managed to suppress it. Help! Wei Hong smiled and remained silent. He took some time to skim the hint of Vitality plus 18 on the eye system panel and couldn't help but curl his lips. Fresh blood splashed out with a splash and rushed into the basin containing pig blood. In just a few short breaths, he almost flew out. Now it's thanks to Brother Nyo that I managed to kill it. If I had to rely solely on myself, I'm afraid it wouldn't be possible to do it in a short period of time. Brother Hong, that's great. Li Daniu grinned and said, if you're any slower, I'm afraid I won't be able to hold it down. This time, he finally steadily stabbed the knife into the large blood vessel in the throat. Mad, are all the pigs in the world of cultivating immortals so fierce? Wei Hong wiped a cold sweat with lingering fear and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. No wonder a person with 200 pounds of arm strength was needed to act as a swordsman, almost overturning the car. After calming down, he began to follow Li Daniu and continue to be busy. After the pig's blood is drained, it needs to be shaved. One person scoops boiling water onto the pig's body, and the other person holds a knife to scrape the pig's hair, which works together to achieve the highest efficiency. Li Daniu is agile and not inferior to any other swordsman. Wei Hong also took the time to scrape some fine pig hair with a pig-killing knife. Unconsciously, the proficiency of slaughtering skills has increased again. Scraping pig hair is the simplest way, be patient and you can scrape it clean. The next step is to cut the pork by opening the stomach and chopping it into pieces. Before that, the pig's head and limbs must be cut off, and the joint must be accurately identified before the knife can be cut open quickly, accurately, and fiercely. When opening the chamber, be slow and don't cut through the internal organs. If you cut through the large intestine, feces will leak out. After emptying the internal organs, cut open the spine from the back, look good. Li Daniu explained while moving the knife quickly, accurately, and fiercely. A pig was quickly divided into chunks of meat in his hands. Although it was also his first time cutting and dividing pork, he often worked with others on a daily basis, so he was very agile and had no mistakes. Zhu Sihai stood in place and watched for a while, then turned around satisfied and left. Wei Hong saw this scene and joked with a smile, the Deng Tu is very satisfied. Denyo, you are going to be promoted to a swordsman. How could it be so simple? I still lack some strength. Li Daniu's face was complex, with both joy and sadness. He, like Wei Hong, is actually an ordinary person with average talent. After staying in the meat shop for 2.5 years, I have actually learned various skills. However, the strength has always been slightly below the standard, to the point where only lean pigs can be killed now. To be a qualified swordsman, it's still a bit lacking. Why don't you go to the pharmacy and grab a few nourishing decoctions? Wei Hong casually suggested, being a swordsman earlier can also earn more money to support the family. Li Daniu chuckled and remained silent. Obviously, he is too shy to speak up. A pair of nourishing soup medicine in a pharmacy costs at least half a tael of silver. Most people deal with various taxes and have to support their families every day. How can they afford to buy soup medicine to practice martial arts? Sigh. Wei Hong sighed silently and could only continue to work hard. Coming from a background like theirs, every step is very difficult. Where are there so many opportunities for trial and error? Enduring time is the right path. You too. Just after Mao, the third leader Zhao Mingjie hurriedly walked over and ordered, hurry up and tidy up. You'll be ready to go with me to deliver the goods later. Hurry up. Yes. Li Daniu quickly agreed. Wei Hong appeared somewhat regretful, as he wanted to kill more sheep. But thinking about it, I know it's unlikely. Delivery also requires manpower, and at this time everyone is busy, so it's impossible to let other drivers deliver. Fortunately, I was nimble just now, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to drink even a sip of soup. Wei Hong took a moment to take a look at the attribute version and couldn't help but feel emotional. Host. Wei Hong, age. 1647, vitality point. 81, health. 5.7, realm. Currently unavailable, practice. Tiger's 13 moves, beginner, 54/100, magic. Currently unavailable, skills. Cooking skills, Xiao Cheng, 89 out of 100, fishing, beginners, 63 out of 100, slaughtering, beginners, 37 out of 100, tip. 100 points of vitality can increase lifespan by 1 year, 10 points of vitality can increase health by 0.1, and 1 point of vitality can improve skill proficiency by 1 point. There has been a slight increase in health compared to half a month ago, but it has all grown slowly through practicing martial arts. Just now, killing 5 sheep earned a total of 63 points of vitality, 1 pig earned 18 points, and in addition to the 9 points earned by helping Aunt Wang kill chickens, ducks, and geese, a total of 81 points of vitality were saved. Wei Hong thought for a moment and decisively added 80 points of vitality to his health. Ding! Vitality .80, health plus 0.8, current health. 6.5, waves of warm and powerful energy began to reverberate within the body. Wei Hong felt like he had taken a few bowls of tonic medicine, and every cell in his body seemed to be nourished. His sore muscles quickly became comfortable, his emaciated and weak body gradually became full, as if there was an endless force throughout his body, and his eyes became sharper. Take advantage of no one paying attention. Wei Hong casually lifted the stone lock at the corner of the wall. He was surprised to find that lifting a 60-pound stone lock with one arm had become very easy, and his physical fitness had significantly improved. If I could gain so much vitality every day, wouldn't I be able to become a saint in my physical body? Wei Hong murmured in surprise. Request for votes and support, end of this chapter. Chapter 9. Green Willow Street, Red Lantern. Ticket request. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Green Willow Street, Red Lantern. Ticket request. Hurry up, don't procrastinate. Hurry up from behind. In the early hours of the morning, the meat shop door was pushed open. Creak creak creak, the sound of the unicycle pressing against the bluestone road shattered the tranquility around. Zhao Mingjie, the third leader, personally led the team, with 7 or 8 people including Wei Hong and Li Daniu each pushing a unicycle, loaded with pigs and sheep, and marching out of the meat shop, preparing to deliver goods to major restaurants. At this moment, the night is hazy and dark, with a faint mist swirling around. No one was seen on the streets and alleys, and the atmosphere seemed somewhat oppressive. Don't be nervous, Brother Hong. Li Daniu comforted with a smile. Actually, delivering goods is not difficult. Usually, we first deliver them to various restaurants, and then to wealthy families. Just deliver them to your doorstep according to the bill of lading. Stop, who is that? Through the open door, one could see several young servants looking like them yawning while tidying up and scrubbing tables, chairs, and benches. Oh. Is that right? The head of the guard scanned the convoy with sharp eyes and said with a smile on his face, so it's Xiaoping too. Why did you personally come out to deliver the goods? Just walked a street and collided head-on with a team of armored city guards. Zhuji Meat Shop is backed by the Tiger Head Gang and has some connection with the patrol army. Zhao Mingjie happily arched his hand and led the convoy forward. The leader of the guard nodded in satisfaction before saying, since it's delivery, let's go. Don't delay the time. Isn't this the Cold Clothes Festival? The major restaurants require a lot of goods. Zhao Mingjie casually handed over 2 pieces of silver and sneered, Mr. Jun, thank you for your hard work. These are all the guys from my meat shop. Please do me a favor. As long as it is not a task of searching for thieves or fugitives, giving some tea money will not be difficult for people. Oh Jun, don't misunderstand, don't misunderstand. Zhao Mingjie nodded and smiled proficiently. We are from Zhuji meat shop. We are going out to deliver goods in the dark. We are not thieves. In a moment. However, it's not very safe at night. Although the gods have a curfew, they can't resist the mixed interests of the gang. The payment for dozens of pigs and sheep is as high as hundreds of taels, so we're afraid that some fugitives will target us, so we must be clever. The convoy stopped in front of a restaurant called Mingyue Fang. It seems that being a waiter in a restaurant is not easy either. Wei Hong couldn't help but sigh softly. Okay. Yes, thank you very much, Lord Jun. They held torches and crossed swords, their eyes fierce and terrifying. In this atmosphere, he really doesn't feel any sense of security. He always feels like someone is peeking at the corners of the streets and alleys, making people unable to help but lift their hearts and dare not relax at all. This restaurant covers a wide area, with 2 large red lanterns hanging high at the entrance. Being a servant in a restaurant is not easy either, Li Dainiu agreed. After a month of hard work, I only earn more than 1 or 2 taels of silver. I wake up earlier than a chicken and sleep later than a dog. When I encounter difficult customers, I often get beaten and scolded. Wei Hong nodded repeatedly, his eyes wary as he scanned the surroundings. Lao Lu, could you please inspect the goods? Zhao Mingjie stepped inside the door and arched his hand towards a middle-aged man in a gray coat who was dozing off behind the counter. Oh, hello, the third leader personally came to deliver the goods, it's a rare guest. The middle-aged man stood up with a smile to greet him. Zhao Mingjie said helplessly, today is a holiday, and all the restaurants are working hard to welcome guests. Our butcher shop can't hold us back. Your family has ordered 8 pig feet, 120 pounds of pork, 50 pounds of lamb, and 60 pounds of miscellaneous food. You order it. It's easy to say. The middle-aged man called 2 servants over to help. In no time, the pig and mutton will be counted and paid for and received. Zhao Mingjie exchanged a few pleasantries with the person, then waved his hand and said, let's take a walk, next house, hurry up, don't delay the time. The creaking sound of the wheels echoed again. The mighty convoy kept moving on the street. Send fresh meat to one restaurant after another. Unconsciously. The convoy arrived at a long street by the river. This place is filled with dense willow trees, with branches and leaves swaying in the wind, appearing particularly permeable in the dark night. Occasionally, one can also see the brightly lit brothels and painted boats on the river. Waves of mist floated in the wind, adding to the cold atmosphere. Evening. A sharp and gentle singing voice came from afar. In the convoy, Lu Kang, who often goes in and out of brothels, couldn't help but laugh and comment, this chimping miner has a bit of charm, and I don't know which painting boat's young lady sang it. It sounds quite seductive. I'm still having fun in the early morning, these dogs really enjoy it, shameless people. Jiang Kuei cursed and spat heavily. You two are really laughing at each other at 50 steps. How could you be so embarrassed to laugh at them as shameless people? If it weren't for the fact that the money has already been spent, wouldn't you be fooling around in the trap every day? That's right, be careful not to get sick. Ha ha ha, don't worry, just get infected with a dirty disease and have it cut off. The men laughed and joked one after another, and when they spoke obscene language, their faces lit up with excitement. But Zhao Mingjie, who was walking ahead, changed his face on the spot and quickly raised his hand, saying, Shu, keep quiet. Wei Hong was startled and also noticed something was wrong. This singing voice clearly came not from the painted boat, but from all directions. It was as if someone was singing softly in their ear. For a moment, everyone felt like they were surrounded by a chill. It's like a pair of eyes staring at me in the dark. Unconsciously, everyone present's hands and feet became somewhat stiff. Not far away. At the entrance of a courtyard, two large red lanterns suddenly lit up. They are glaring crimson, making people shiver uncontrollably. Oh no, this is Green Willow Street. Li Daniu's face turned pale with fear. Before Li Fuhu's house was mysteriously destroyed, someone had heard the sound of singing music. Hiss. Everyone took a deep breath. Zhao Mingjie was even more shocked as he retreated several times and took a few deep breaths before whispering to everyone, "Hurry up. Take a detour, don't talk, don't look around, lower your head and leave quickly. Brother Hong, keep up. Walk faster." The crowd panicked and pushed the unicycle around to leave. It wasn't until they were 100 meters away that the lingering singing sound in their ears gradually disappeared. After repeatedly confirming that no one was possessed by the eerie, everyone silently breathed a sigh of relief. "Li Daniu, do you want to die?" Zhao Mingjie wiped his cold sweat and cursed incessantly. Since he knew something had happened in the Li mansion, why didn't he tell it in advance? "You want to kill everyone, right?" "I'm wrongly accused," Li Daniu pleaded wrongly. "This matter has caused a lot of uproar, and I thought you knew it. Do you dare to talk back?" Zhao Mingjie glared with anger and embarrassment. "Don't be angry at the third gear." Wei Hong quickly advised, "It's better for us to leave quickly. Although it's not really strange, staying here is not a good thing." "Not bad, hurry up, hurry up." Zhao Mingjie walked down the slope and quickly led the convoy away. "Damn it, it's too scary. I won't even go to Green Willow Street if I die next time. Isn't it true that there is a strange scene at the foot of the Imperial City, which makes it impossible for people to live?" "Oh, we're pretty good. I've heard that several villages outside the city have been affected by eerie things recently, and everyone in the village has died completely. The group of people from the second stall who go out to collect pigs on weekdays are always in a state of fear." "What's this?" "Recently, Qingzhou was plagued by drought, famine, and thousands of miles of barren land, with eerie scenes everywhere. I don't know how many people have died." Everyone was discussing the aftermath of the disaster, with a look of fear on their faces. Wei Hong's face didn't look very good either. "I didn't expect that he would just come out to deliver a goods, and he would also be in such a precarious situation. If it's a bit unlucky, I'm afraid I'm going to die inexplicably today, right? We must become stronger as soon as possible." Wei Hongchang breathed a sigh of relief, secretly grateful that he had escaped a disaster. However, just as they were about to lift their feet and leave, there was a cry of surprise in the convoy. "Where are Lu Kong and Jiang Kuei? Damn it, why is the person missing?" The crowd was so frightened that they took a cold breath. A chill instantly hit my heart, making my hands and feet stiff. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. People's Anxiety. Seeking follow. Up reading. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. People's Anxiety. Seeking follow. Up reading, missing. Are you kidding me? Early in the morning the Zhu Ji meat shop, which was supposed to be noisy, was particularly dull and silent. Only Zhu Sihai's incredulous roar echoed around. The people who had just escaped, such as Wei Hong and Li Daniu, were all pale and obviously frightened. "How dare I joke about this kind of thing?" Zhao Mingjie, the third gear driver, retorted with a gloomy expression on his face. At that time, everyone was very scared. If it weren't for my tough attitude and forcing them to deliver the goods before returning, I'm afraid even the big guy would have to leave the car with meat and run for his life. Do you still believe me, big gear driver? Can it be that the two of them lost the team? Zhu Sihai rubbed his brows in frustration and asked, "It's normal for the two of them to get lost in the evening, isn't it?" "Normal bullshit." Zhao Mingjie muttered in a low voice, "At night, the convoy is on fire. Even if you're blind, you can't get lost, can you?" And they were in the middle of the convoy at the time, and in the blink of an eye, they couldn't even see anyone or a car. You know. Hiss. Zhu Sihai was also frightened and took a cold breath. Okay. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing this. Sometimes crawling, sometimes lying down, sometimes twisting the body. Wei Hong couldn't forget the coldness at that time. He was certain that Lu Kang and Jiang Kuei disappeared in the blink of an eye. It was difficult to speculate on such a strange event with common sense, and if it happened, only one person would die. What are you doing with a sad face? Can the eerie nature of the day still harm you? Since you're back, it means you're safe. Zhu Sihai scolded angrily, what should we do now? Let's go home from work an hour in the afternoon to rest. Before we leave, everyone goes to the stall to collect 3 pounds of miscellaneous goods and a reward. Do you understand? Who? Zhu Sihai personally took charge of the meat shop, fearing that something might go wrong again. If he had only been able to practice the 7th move in the past, he would have exhausted himself and fallen to the ground, making it difficult for him to continue. He. After a brief discussion between the two, Zhao Mingjie began to go out to find someone. Yes. Thank you very much, big boss. Everyone rolled their eyes perfunctorily, no one was foolish enough to believe such nonsense. Don't make a fuss, send someone out to find them first. The big stall is spacious. He poses in various positions. Ha! The dull atmosphere gradually warmed up. The semi-naked upper body muscles are tense and sweat is pouring down like rain. Every action is done to the best of one's ability, without any slack. Until lunch, Wei Hong continued to practice his martial arts as usual. Wei Hong and others still looked at each other, all of whom were somewhat frightened and uncertain. It's okay. Li Daniu smiled and comforted, maybe they were just sneaking around to look for flowers and willows. But today he just increased his health, and his whole body was full of blood and energy, as if he had endless strength. He even practiced from the 1st move to the 13th move in one breath. Ha! Did this kid take the wrong medicine? He only practiced the 7th move a few days ago, but now he's actually practicing the 13th move. The swordsmen on the side, who were practicing their skills with stone locks, couldn't help but stare in surprise. Li Daniu also instinctively hesitated for a moment. Yesterday, Wei Hong said that he had practiced the 7th move. How could he make such great progress today? Did he buy soup to nourish qi and blood? After practicing his luck, Wei Hongchang breathed a sigh of relief. As the 13th move was successfully completed, his bones began to explode with a crackling sound. A sense of transparency inexplicably arises from the bottom of my heart. The boiling qi and blood turned into waves of warm current, beginning to nourish every muscle throughout the body. Billions of pores open at this moment, and a large amount of sweat spurts out, easily expelling a large amount of impurities from the body. At the same time, there is a tingling sensation in addition to the soreness in the limbs, which makes people unable to resist being secretly intoxicated. It feels good. Wei Hong silently savored the process of becoming stronger, and his anxious heart gradually calmed down. Li Daniu couldn't help but sigh, you can fully practice the 13 tiger moves so quickly. Brother Hong is amazing. It's just a stroke of luck, Wei Hong replied humbly. Take a break, don't work too hard, advised Li Daniu. Okay. Wei Hong pretended to be exhausted, panting heavily and decisively sitting aside to rest. Although he still has the energy to practice again now, and even if he is tired again, adding a point to his health can quickly restore his stamina. Practicing 10 or 8 times a day is not a problem. But he still wisely chose to hide his foolishness. Just now, practicing 13 moves in a row has attracted the attention of others. If you practice a few more times, even a fool should know that he has tricks. Let's go home and practice again. Wei Hong couldn't help but feel a little better as he savored the transparency he had just experienced. Fortunately, I gained a wave of vitality today during the Cold Clothes Festival. If it weren't for adding some health points, it wouldn't have been easy for me to quickly improve my steak technique. Now he can finish practicing the 13 styles of the tiger in one breath, and the refining effect will naturally increase exponentially. As long as he studies hard and practices hard, he can reach 200 pounds of arm strength in less than 6 months. Of course, this is the most conservative estimate. If I could earn some more vitality every day. So it is unknown whether this time will be greatly reduced. In the afternoon, the meat shop really closed early to close. Wei Hong also received 3 pounds of pig water and a reward of 200 won. How could there be so much bounty? It's generous enough, Wei Hong murmured to himself. What is this? Li Daniu joked happily, I'm so happy to give you a reward of 200 won. The official swordsman has 500 won. They have good craftsmanship and a lot of effort, so it's only natural for them to earn more, Wei Hong said nonchalantly. And don't we also have the opportunity to become formal swordsmen in the future? That's right. Li Daniu murmured with a hopeful expression on his face, the monthly salary of the swordsman is as high as 3 taels, and the bounty for festivals is generous. If you can't sell the pig offal, just bring it home. I can't even dream of such a good thing. Wei Hong burst into laughter, feeling the same longing in his heart. Compared to the monthly silver that taverns and watchmen often earn in their early 20s, and the hundreds of won earned by the poor women who work hard to wash clothes for people every day, the 3 or 2 months of silver can definitely be considered high income. At least save some flowers and it's not difficult to support a family of 3. The future is promising. Wei Hong sighed. Request for tickets, end of this chapter.